Hello students and welcome to third lecture of financial management. Today we are going to discuss third topic of unit 1. Our topic of discussion in today's lecture will be agency theory. Here are the objectives of today's lecture. The first one is to develop the conceptual understanding of agency theory. The second objective is to familiarize students with different aspects of agency theory. The third objective of today's lecture is to apply the acquired knowledge in real life situation. And I hope that by the end of this lecture, we will be able to cover these objectives. Now, let's discuss the concept of agency theory in more detail. Agency theory is a risk sharing between principal and agent. For a company, principal means owner or the shareholders or the person who has invested money in business, and agent means the manager or management people who are controlling and managing the business. So managers are decision making authority in an organization. It means who makes decision for business functioning, and shareholders are the owners of organizations. In large companies, there is a difference between management and ownership. It means management and ownership, these two terms are different. Management is the management people who control and function the business, and owners are basically the shareholders or the person who has invested money in business. This is called agency theory in financial management. Agency theory is a principle that is used to explain and resolve issues in the relationship between business principals and their agents. So basically, agency theory try to resolve the issues which are raised by principals against their agents, because principals are the shareholders who wants more return on their investment. An agent or the management people are the people who function and control the business. Most commonly, that relationship is the one between shareholder as principals and company executives as agent. So if any conflict arises between the agent and the principal, that is, between the management people or manager and the shareholders and the owner, then that issues will be resolved with the help of agency theory. So basically we can say that agency theory identify and try to resolve the conflict which arise between the principal and the agent of business. This is what we call agency theory in financial management. Now, let's talk about the areas of dispute in agency theory, that is conflict which arises in agency theory. Agency theory addresses disputes that arise primarily in two key areas: a difference in goals or difference in risk aversion. That is, agency theory addresses disputes basically on two bases. The first one is difference in goals, and the second one is difference in risk aversion. Difference in goals means that the goals which are decided by management and principle are different, and the second one, which is difference in risk aversion, it means perception of risk between the agent and the principal are different. For example, company executives may decide to expand a business into new markets. It means management people or the manager decide to expand their business into new market segments. This will sacrifice the short-term profitability of the company, that is, the shareholders will not get dividend in near future because the money is invested to expand the business in new segments. And higher earning in the future, that is, in future the earning will be higher because of entry in new market segment. However, shareholders may place a priority on short-term capital growth and oppose the company decision. That is, shareholders or the owners may oppose this decision of management people because they want dividend in near future. So there arises a conflict between the principal and the agent, that is between the shareholders and the management key people. Another central issue often addressed by agency theory involves incompatible levels of risk tolerance between a principal and an agent, that is between shareholder and management people. This can be understood with the help of example. For example, shareholders in a bank may object that management has set the bar too low on loan approvals, thus taking on too great a risk of defaults. So we can understand with the help of this example that differences can arise between two, that is between shareholders and management people, on the basis of differences in risk aversion. This is how the disputes can arise in agency theory. Now let's talk about the concept of agency laws. So before defining agency laws, we need to define some other terms like principal and agent relationship, which we have already discussed. Let's discuss it in more detail. The principal-agent relationship is when one party, that is principal, authorizes the other party, that is agent, to act on his or her behalf. That is, principal want agent to act on his behalf. In our example, let's take an example. The multinational apartment leasing company, that is, there is an MNC which is a leasing company. We name it as principal, authorize you, for example you are an agent, to act on their behalf, that is you have to act on their behalf and monitor the property, that is you have to control and monitor the property of leasing company. Now this relationship can get complicated and problems do arise when the two parties have misaligned goal and incentive. So there is a chance of conflict or complications because goals of two parties can be different. For example, the multinational company wants to keep the building clean and free from needing renovation. That is, that multinational leasing company want to keep their building clean and they do not want any renovation and they want to lazy to have an enjoyable time. So you as an agent have different goal. You may want to relive your college days or appear to be cool in front of tenants, that is the people who want to live there on rent. To top it off, no one is monitoring your behavior. You can act however you want to act. This can create a big difference between how the principal wants to act you and how you actually act. That is, there is a difference, that is how you are acting, and the principal wants to act you in different manner. So the difference which arises between two parties, so this difference is what we call agency loss. Now the question arises that how can we reduce agency loss? Various proponents of agency theory have proposed ways to resolve disputes between agent and principals. That is, there are various authors who try to resolve the disputes of agency loss between the shareholder and the owner. This is termed as reducing agency loss. Agency loss is the amount that the principal contends want lost due to the agent acting contrary to the principal's interest. It means agency loss is that amount which arises due to the difference between interest of the principal and the agent. Chief among these strategies is the offering of incentive to corporate manager to maximize the profits of their principal. It means that the main solution or the strategy is there by which we can reduce agency loss. The strategy is to corporate manager to maximize the profit of their principal. That is, to give incentive to corporate managers so that they act in favor of principal. The stock options awarded to company executives have their origin in agency theory. These incentives seek a way to optimize the relationship between the principal and the agent. Other practices include tying executive compensation in part of shareholders' return, that is, if profits will be increased, then the management key people will get more salary. These are examples of how agency theory is used in corporate governance or the financial management. These practices have led to concern that management will endanger long-term company growth in order to boost short-term profit and their own pay. This can often be seen in budget planning where management reduce estimates in annual budget so that they are guaranteed to meet performance goals. These concerns have led to yet another compensation scheme in which executive pay is partially deferred and to be determined according to the long-term goals. So various strategies are there which help to reduce agency loss. These solutions have their parallel in other agency relationship. By help of these strategy, agency loss can be reduced. Here are the advantages of agency theory. The first one is it explains different level of obedience. That is, it explain and define the level of obedience which are done by management key people, and shareholder can identify that obedience and can take action against that. The second point of advantages of agency theory is it leads to agentic state where people obey more when the orders are given with more authority. Under this point, it is stated that if people are given order or responsibility from more authority or more higher level authority, then they will perform their action in best way. The third point of advantages of agency theory is it helps to explain unexplainable actions using the agentic state and autonomous state. That is, it can also explain those actions which otherwise cannot be explained with the help of agentic state and autonomous state. The fourth point of its advantages is it helps someone when they are found guilty. That is, if management people or the manager found guilty, in that way it identify those people who are guilty and the actions can be taken against them. So it is helpful for shareholder in that way, and in another way it is also helpful for management people or the managers who take decisions and control the functioning of business. So these were the advantages or benefits of agency theory. Now we will talk about its disadvantages. So these are the disadvantages of agency theory. The first one is there is another explanation for why people behaved that way using social power. It means it justifies the wrong actions of people done under the edge of social power. This is the main disadvantage of agency theory, as wrong actions of shareholders or the management key people are justified under the agency theory. The second point is the theory is less powerful than the explanation. It means its explanation is more powerful, but in reality the agency theory is less powerful. The third point is the agency theory is more of a description. It means its description is in another way, but in reality the agency theory cannot be applicable. The fourth point is it does not really explain in much more detail than the definition. It means its definition is very precise and its explanation cannot be applied in real life situations. So these were the disadvantages of agency theory. In order to conclude agency theory, we can say that beside its disadvantages, agency theory is gaining momentum for all the right reasons. That is, it has more right reason to be accepted. With markets getting volatile as ever, it means markets are changing day by day. It becomes imperative that both the interest of shareholder and the company are taken care of. So here I want to say that markets are changing day by day. So it is becoming necessary that both the shareholders and the company, that is the management, should be taken care of. The shareholders should trust the management of the company, that is shareholders who have invested capital in the business should trust the management or the manager or the key people of the company, because they are the one who take decision of the company and go an extra mile to understand their day-to-day business decisions. That is, shareholders should take actions to understand the day-to-day business decisions taken by the management key people. Similarly, the management should also keep the interest of the true owners of the company in their mind, that is, the management or the manager or the key people who take decision. They should also take care of the interest of the owners of the company while taking decisions. A clear communication should be sent out explaining the rationale behind major business decisions to help shareholders understand and appreciate changes, if any. It means if any decisions is taken by the management, they should taken care of the owner of the company, and owner should also appreciate the changes done by the management key people. A robust corporate policy can help to keep differences at bay. So, at last, it can be said that both the shareholder and the manager should take care of each other interests so that business can grow in long run. And if any conflict arises between the shareholder and the management, then this dispute or the conflict should be resolved with the help of agency theory. Here, I have given you some practice questions which will help you in self-evaluation, and you will be able to identify that how much you got from this lecture. So the first question is, explain agency theory with reference to financial management. Also, you have to discuss its advantages and disadvantages. The second question is, what do you understand by agency loss and how can we reduce agency loss? I hope you will be able to answer these questions. Here is the list of references which I have used in preparation of this lecture. You can go through these links if you want to go in more details. Now I would like to wind up the session. Thank you.